Tinggal daun sih bibig-bibig mo kasayan jiga so ganito ka tek.
Hi, I'm Ken Bringle, Executive Director of the Mammoth Lakes Chamber of Commerce. And today I'm joined by Kim Anacalario, who is the Executive Director of the Mammoth Lakes Recreation. And Kim, it's great to have you with us.
Well, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
I know you got a number of projects that are coming up. We'd like you to tell our audience kind of what's going on and so we can be prepared for them. I guess the first one is we've got Fishmas coming up on April 27th, Saturday. And you have a great program called the Tangle-Free Waters. You might want to cover that one.
I would love to. Yes, so it's Tangle-Free Waters is a monofilament fishing line collection program. So the way it works is we set up these collection stations, which are big tubes with a lid, and anglers are able to put their discarded fishing line in the tube. And staff and volunteers go around weekly, every now and then, to empty the tubes, and we collect all the fishing line, sort it, remove any trash or other debris or tackle that gets left in the line, and then we send it off for recycling.
That's great.
Yeah, and it goes to a company called Berkeley Fishing Industries, and they recycle it into artificial fish habitat or reef. Some of it can be remade into line. So it's a great program. We've got probably upwards of 35 plus tubes now throughout the Eastern Sierra, ranging all the way from Rock Creek up to Bridgeport.
And you do have the opportunity, if you want to sponsor one of the tubes, you can do that.
Yes, we're always looking for sponsors and volunteers. You can go to our webpage, tanglefreewaters.org, to learn more about the program and also the sponsorship opportunities. It's an annual fee of $499, and that pays to build tubes, maintain them, and collect the line and send it off for fishing or for recycling.
That's great. That's a great program. I know you've got some others coming up. A new one you're going to be doing this year is Art on the 4th.
We are. Mammoth Lakes Recreation is now going to be the host of the Mammoth Lakes Arts on the 4th Festival, which will take place Thursday, July 4th, 5th, and 6th, right on the corner of Main Street and Old Mammoth Road and in the Footloose parking lot. And so the festival, this will be its 48th year being in Mammoth Lakes. And so when Mono Arts Council decided it just wasn't quite lining up with their organization's mission to host this festival, Mammoth Lakes Recreation definitely stepped in and decided to make sure we offered this for the community.
That's great. That's great. I know, well-attended event, too. You see tons of people walking through it for those 3 days.
Yes, we're very excited.
We're excited about the 4th this year, too. And I know that you also have National Trail Days coming up, but you also have an adopted trail program?
That's right. So similar to the Tangle-Free Waters program, we have an Eastern Sierra Adopt-A-Trail, which is a program that through volunteers and sponsorship dollars, we perform maintenance, light litter pickup, and sometimes larger projects that are done by the trail crew. And it's an opportunity for people to be involved with our trail system, both in Mammoth Lakes and throughout Mono County. Again, we have county-wide facilities that are available for adoption. And as a volunteer, you're just required to do about 10 hours each season, which we really appreciate all the help we can get. And sponsorship dollars are also available to help pay for larger maintenance projects and trail equipment.
Okay, and so how does National Trail Days fit in with that?
So National Trail Days will be June 1st this year, and it's kind of the annual kickoff to the Mammoth Lakes Trail System Summer of Stewardship program. Okay. And so this year we are actually being spotlighted by Leave No Trace. So we'll have 3 days of stewardship events with some Leave No Trace trainers that are coming to Mammoth. We're going to do some professional trainings on Thursday. Then Friday, May 30th, we'll be doing a Leave No Trace trivia night at Mammoth Brewing Company at 6 p.m. So we'd love for everybody to come join us for that and brush up your skills and get ready for summer hiking with some Leave No Trace. And then that Saturday is June 1st, which is National Trails Day. So we'll be doing a community event, staging out of the Mammoth Lakes Library at 9 a.m.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, this year I think we'll be able to start hiking a little early.
We're hoping so.
Why don't you talk a little bit about Mammoth Lakes Recreation overall and kind of where you came from and what your kind of mission is?
Great question. Yeah, so Mammoth Lakes Recreation, we're a local small nonprofit that is dedicated to developing, implementing, and enhancing the arts, culture, and recreation opportunities that we have here in the Eastern Sierra. Okay. And so we do that through our stewardship programs. We work a lot with the local arts agencies through measuring you funding dollars towards them, and just trail projects, grant writing, all that sort of good stuff to bring more benefit to our community.
You guys are staying really busy right now.
Sure are.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Again, Ken Brindle with the Mammoth Lakes Chamber of Commerce, growing business and building community.
Hello, everyone. Chief Derr with your April update from the Bishop Police Department in the city of Bishop. Last night at the city council meeting, they made a proclamation for Sexual Assault and Child Abuse Awareness Month for the month of April for the city of Bishop. And I'd like to kind of further that along and that mission along. So a lot of us don't think about it, but in our line of work, we actually see quite frequently across the board, and we're not any different than anywhere else. In California, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men are victims of sexual assault. Within Inyo County and the city of Bishop, there's average over 100 child abuse, child neglect reports. So it's there, it's not always seen. So most of these people aren't comfortable coming forward about it. So if you are a victim, there's plenty of resources out there, and a lot of those resources aren't necessarily government entities, they're nonprofit organizations, and those are the ones that in recent times we've really been leaning on. Wild Iris, CASA, the Eastern Sierra, they're great benefits to the community in that aspect as advocates. There's also ways to donate and fund for them. I know recently some of those, the funding given for grants and state have been kind of drying up for them with all those budget deficits. So maybe reach out if you have it on your heart to donate to them. Also remember this month to think about and pray for those who are victims and involved with any type of sexual assault or child abuse. And that's it for the City of Bishop's proclamation for the month of April.
How awesome to be with you. I'm Pastor Tim Homan from Mammoth Lakes Lutheran and Grace Lutheran in Bishop with a devotional for you. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Luke 23. The narrative of God's love for us could not be more epic. It begins with absolute perfection. It's filled with heartbreak, betrayal, but also promises and faithfulness. There's only one way for the reign of the devil to be undone, and Jesus had to do everything just right. Jesus had to be born, becoming God and man. He had to be sinless, never once falling away from his Father's will. He had to usher in the kingdom of God, breaking the devil's rule. He had to be baptized to take the place of the holy child we could not be. And he had to die. The payment for sin is death, and we owed God a debt that we could never pay, a debt only Jesus' perfect life could satisfy. Jesus was on the most critical mission known to the existence as the kingdom of God, warred against the kingdom of the devil. In perfect love, Jesus conquered all that is wrong in this world and paid for the sin of every person. In victory, he's preparing for the day when heaven and earth are new and reconciled, when God and all living things can live together in love and peace forever. What kind of love is this? It's the unfathomable love of God, who will stop at nothing to be with his beloved creations. I'm Pastor Tim Homan from Mammoth Lakes Lutheran Church and Grace Lutheran Church.
I'm Jason Brown, and I am here with Superintendent Barry Simpson. He is Inyo County Office of Education Superintendent. How many years, Barry, have you been? Because you were superintendent of City of Bishop.
Yes.
And then now Inyo County Office of Education. How many years have you been a superintendent?
So I've been a superintendent quite a long time. So I'll go back. I started my teaching career in the early to mid 90s.
Darn it, I was gonna go there later, but you beat me to it.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay.
So I started teaching, and my teaching was in small school districts in Tulare County, where
Okay.
my parents had relocated from Bishop at the time, and my wife and I moved over to where we had a lot of family, and I started teaching over there, and I met some individuals who were kind of mentors to me, and I ended up getting an administrative credential. And so my first superintendency, I was 29 years old.
Holy scamoles, that's young.
Yeah, so I've been a superintendent for 25 years.
Wow.
So I started a superintendency at a small school district over in Tulare County called Sausalito Elementary School District, K8. Had about 130 students. I was actually, I taught a couple of periods in the morning. I was the principal, and I was also the superintendent. So it was quite a big
Juggler,
job. Yeah.
or a man of many hats.
Yeah, and then an opportunity came over in Bishop, Round Valley. So I moved back to Bishop in 2001, and I was the superintendent principal at Round Valley for 5 years.
Oh, so they had their own superintendent out
They
there?
do, yeah, and so they still have a superintendent there.
Okay.
And then at the time I moved to Bishop Elementary School District. If you remember, Bishop Elementary and Bishop High School were separate districts.
Because it was Elm and Pine at the time.
And Home Street were one school district, and then the high school
I had
was...
no clue where my kids were going at that time period. It was just that place down there.
It was just a blur, right. And so I became the Bishop Elementary School District Superintendent, did that for a couple of years. And then I took over both districts, and I was doing a joint superintendency for a while. And that's when we went through a unification process. So we unified the districts in 2010.
Okay.
And it became,
is that when it became Bishop Unified?
Yeah. And so I served at the Bishop Unified from 2010 to when I started my term in 2019, my first term as the county superintendent.
Right.
So I was teaching for only 5 years, so I got into administration very young, and in some ways, I wish I'd waited. I miss the students, to be honest with you. As you move up, you're a little bit further away from the students, so that's one thing I wish I'd have taught a little bit longer. But I've enjoyed all of my years in education, and at the times when I was at Round Valley, I drove the bus at periods of time and took the kids up skiing during the winter, and a lot of fun things, and I've had a great career, and it's been an honor to serve here in the community that I grew up in, so it's been very cool.
That's awesome. Now, we're out of COVID, but I'm sure that was very challenging as a superintendent.
It was, and I had moved over to the county office just prior to COVID.
Yeah,
and
2019.
Yeah. And,
well, that was when you got elected.
Yeah,
right?
and so I got elected and moved over, and COVID hit, so that first few years of even my county superintendency were really kind of different because we were trying to support the schools with what they were doing. It was a difficult time for everybody. I have to give a great deal of credit to the current superintendent, Katie Kolker, who was really brand new and came through. I thought she did an excellent job.
Love you, Katie.
Yeah, it was a difficult time. Divisive in the community. I think everybody understands that. And certainly we wish things would have gone a little differently, but at the time we tried to do the best we could. And,
I think you did, and I think you got to give a hat, take your hat off or whatever that saying is to your IT team.
Oh, absolutely, because we, at the time, I think we deployed, I would say maybe 1,000 personal devices
the hotspots?
Yeah, the hotspots. across the county and into some areas out in Chalfont Valley and into some areas where the students really didn't have access. And so we were able to pull that off. And so again, proud of what we did. Like I said, difficult time, but we were able to manage our way through.
And so now coming out of it, how have things been? Getting
Yeah, I would say, we're back to normal. I'll be honest with you.
There we go.
The enrollment has been down a little bit. Some people chose at the time to pull their students, do some homeschooling, some other programs. So we are seeing some of the enrollment. We hope, I'm a believer in public education, so we hope that those families will return. But we're back on track, spending a lot of time on learning loss that happened during that period of time. So right now, in fact, our schools are getting ready and to do the state testing and some of those things. And the scores are about where they were pre-COVID levels.
Well, that's good. That means it worked.
Yeah, so a little bit lower in the math area, because math is a difficult subject for students to be out of class.
It's a difficult subject for parents to try to teach the students.
Exactly. But so we're on the right track there. We expect to see some gains this year. So good stuff is happening.
What else is what else is going on in Inyo County Office of Education?
Well, I think right now one of the major things that we're talking about with our school districts, we have 3 school districts where we recently helped support bringing in a team to go through their facilities. So we did that at Bishop Unified, we did that at Owens Valley and Independence.
What's that team do?
What they do is they come in, they evaluate your needs. They look at any possible funding that you might have at the state level for new construction, because there is some new construction needs with the TK and the pre-K, universal pre-K that's coming in. What people really don't maybe understand is now that we're moving public education down to 4-year-olds, it's kind of like adding a grade level. It really is. And so for Bishop Unified, they have the need of some classrooms. So they come in and look at, what are your needs? Where do you need renovations, which is a big issue for our school districts. The main building at Bishop High was built 100 years ago.
Wow.
The Home Street Middle School was built in the early 50s. And the same with the school districts down in Independence and Lone Pine. And so there's a great deal of renovations that need to be done, plumbing and infrastructure, HVAC. And so we went through and looked at, try to project out what some of those costs might be. And so there's some serious needs there. And to talk about facilities, I think you really kind of need to talk about school budgets.
Yeah.
Because people are really unaware that our school budgets are almost 90% humans. There are people that work there.
Okay.
So that only leaves 10 to 15% for maintenance of facilities, for electricity, for all the materials that you need to have. So while our school districts do a very good job of maintaining facilities, when it comes to those big ticket items, what needs to happen eventually is they're going to be looking at what's called a facility bond, which is an election, a community election, and it's based on property taxes. Oh. And I know. And so at some point, that's how major renovations and new schools are built across the state. And so that's the big thing that you're going to maybe be hearing about over the next few months.
But it's necessary.
It's necessary. Our students need it. We want our community to have the best schools for our children. And when you have a great school district, it just adds to the vibrancy and the greatness of your community. And so I know that there are people out there that will support that.
Yeah.
But it's also going to take some time to discuss, we don't want to ask the community for too much. We want to find that right balance.
Yes.
But it's something.
Because it's a burden as well. And a
is.
lot of people sit there and go, well, I've never had kids. And
exactly.
Or my kids are all grown. But, it's your grandkids. It's about keeping your community educated and advancing not falling behind. And it's your future.
Right on the head.
Just remember this. When you're in that rest home and you want that proper care, it's those kids kids that the property taxes that you funded are making the decisions about your life.
That's
so
right.
You
That's
want them
right.
educated.
Yeah,
that's
wanna,
my personal opinion.
That's right. We want a strong future. So that's something that we'll be talking about. And you hit it on the head. 80% of our community really doesn't have a connection to the school. They might be retired, their children have moved on.
They will when they're in the rest home.
Yeah, so
or wanting to draw their Social Security.
So we'll be educating the community about the needs of the districts and talking to them about supporting those things.
Yeah, let's keep going. I mean, I know this is going to be a long interview, and I've said we're only doing 5 to 7 minute interviews, but I haven't got to have a sit down with you. Yeah. One of the things that we had last week in Skippable News was, I can't think of her name right now, but a Hispanic lady that's a part of the job spot, and she's just a few credits shy from graduating. I saw Ken on Facebook this morning getting his education, and it says, never too old.
Right.
This is a success story.
It is. We're very proud of the job spot, the adult education program. When I came into my county superintendency, I saw that there was a need, and we also saw that counties around us, Mono County, Kern, had some fairly good funding, and I said, well, why isn't Inyo County a part of that? And so we're part of the Kern Adult Education Consortium. So I kind of went over there with hat in hand and asked for some startup money to get our program going. And we actually ran it out of the office that I have on Grandview here in Bishop initially. Okay. And we started having classes, and we saw that there was a need. So we went back, and we were able to, with Sarah Coso's help, we were able to access quite a bit of funding to renovate that space down on Main Street. So we want to say thank you to the Sarah Coso Community College system.
Absolutely.
And then we were able to get a regular allotment from the Kern Adult Education Consortium. So we were able to get funding. And now we're also, thank you to the Eastern Sierra Foundation, Julie Faber, Jeff Griffiths, and all the board members. They have made a commitment to us of $100,000 over the next 5 years.
Wow.
And so that funding is well established in this now. And so we're just really proud of the number of students that were graduating with their diplomas. We're teaching ESL classes, QuickBooks, doing culinary. We're going to be adding some things as we move
You're even
forward.
teaching classes to seniors on computers, which is just,
absolutely.
On my other hat that I wear, I have JASP and IT, and I get people in all the time, and they need to learn, but, it's expensive for someone like me to be teaching them. And so now I've been able to send them down the block.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of success with that as well.
Computer literacy has been really awesome, and so
Dr.
we're really proud of it.
Dr. Sparks heads this all up,
Yeah,
correct?
Dr. Sparks is kind of the director down there. I do want to shout out to Randy Cook, former principal who has worked with me for a long time, is at the county office. I really, I kind of got this thing started. I said, Randy, I really want you to build this, and he's really responsible for what it's become, and I'm really proud of all the work that he's done. So
you got a great team.
We
There's
really do.
A lot of really cool things. I was going to start this segment, and I completely forgot, but I was going to say, bet you'd never guess who my favorite baseball team is.
Yeah, it's opening day not too long ago.
We won opening day.
There you go.
Which is all that matters. That and beating the Yankees at the very end of the season. Spring is just around the corner. I think we've got another week into winter.
I know.
Why is it that, it's going to be like 87 tomorrow. It's going to be a beautiful Friday, the last day of the working week, and then it's a miserable Saturday.
I know. I can't figure that out.
All I can say is either go to the movies or enjoy the couch.
That's right.
Barry, thanks for coming in.
Great.
Really love
great
having
talking with you.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
This is Skippable News. Thank you for watching. I know it's a longer than normal interview, but we appreciate you sticking in there. Hi, I'm Jason Brown, and I'm with Steve Mace. He's with the ES Avalanche, or Eastern Sierra Avalanche. They can get you at esavalanche.org. But Steve, this is the end of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, we're coming up on it. There will be snow around for a while, but our operating season is ending here mid-April. Yep.
Okay, does that mean in mid-April you guys will no longer be publishing to Facebook the avalanche reports, or?
Yeah, so we operate, our daily forecasts end on April 14th.
Okay.
And then after that, we may post updates as needed through the spring, especially if we see abnormal winter weather.
Okay, so people should still, if we see abnormal weather, continue going to esavalanche.org.
Yeah, absolutely. And our observation platform will still be open, so you will be able to post your obs, and those will be published to the website even after we shut down.
Well, how is it looking back there?
Well, we've had a fairly cold and stormy spring so far, so lots of more winter-like conditions.
Okay.
But in the last couple days, we have started to see things warm up again, and starting to transition more to a typical melt-freeze spring-like snowpack.
And what is that? Does that mean less avalanches likely? Or?
It's not necessarily less avalanches, it's a different type of avalanches. So our concerns this time of year tend to be more wet snow avalanches, so loose, wet avalanches, things like that. But they tend to be a little more predictable because we'll get the freezing temps at night, and then the sun comes out and kind of can melt that surface snow, cause some of that sloughing to happen. But as we move into the spring, it tends to be a more predictable snowpack. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what else is happening? I think you have an end of the season event coming up in June.
We do. It's so this weekend at June Lake Brewery on Saturday afternoon from 3 to 6, we have our end of season celebration. So
what happens? Tell us about the celebration.
Oh, it's going to be a good time. So we are going to have
music.
A team at June Mountain on Saturday if you want to come out and ski with us, and then we're going to head over to the brewery around 3. We'll have live music with the felt cutouts. Local band, super fun.
Okay. Is this the end of the season for June too?
I think it is closing weekend for June, but I can't confirm that.
Yeah.
I think Sunday might be the last day.
Yeah, because I know that they have only a certain window with the forest department.
Yeah, totally.
Bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Good snow still up there.
Yeah, there is still good snow, and the skiing's actually been fairly good in the hills, and expect that to continue for a little bit.
Okay, when do we pick up next year for all those out there?
So we will be
anxious for doing the snow dance in October.
So we're going to be fully staffed kind of mid-November, ready to roll. But for us, it tends to depend on what the snow's doing. But generally, we're up and running full daily forecast by the holidays. So
when I was a big-time skier before my disability kicked in, we used to do the snow dance, and superstitious, very superstitious.
Yep.
We would keep a Mammoth ski map in the freezer.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if people still do that kind of stuff, but that was our way of hoping for a good winter.
Absolutely.
Well, so how do you think the winter actually turned out, snowpack-wise?
Yeah, so this last round of snow brought us above 100% of average, so we're right around average this season.
All right.
Snuck it in there at the end.
Yeah, Miracle March.
March.
In April, yeah.
But yeah, so we've got snow in the hills. The skiing's been pretty good. It was kind of a later round of precip that brought us there. So it's for those who were waiting for winter all winter, it's finally here. So,
yeah. Enjoy it while you can, and coming back this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you guys might actually get a little snow up at June this weekend?
We might get some snow. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be kind of nice. You get a little dusting while you're skiing. Totally. It gives you that nice little smooth ride.
Yeah, a little refresh.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a super substantial storm, but definitely enough to have an impact.
It's definitely enough to not only have an impact at that, but also people's plans to barbecue after this nice 80-degree weather.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thanks for watching, Steve. As always, we appreciate having you in.
Thanks for having me.
We look forward to next year. Hopefully we have a good winter as well. You guys heard it, 3 o'clock, June Lake at the June Brewery, right?
At the brewery, yep.
Yeah. It'll be end of the season celebration with Eastern Sierra Avalanche. All right, and if you have any questions, you can get a hold of them at esavalanche.org. And we're out.
Oh my God.
Get in the car!
Now, an extraordinary story about a man who rescued children at the mercy of Hitler's invasion. Is there anyone in the audience who owes their life to Nicholas Winton?
The true story behind the moment that amazed the world. One life